to the CE Pro podcast. I'm Executive Editor Arlen Schweiger. The calendar might say it's the middle of winter, but now is the time for custom integrators to be preparing proposals for outdoor projects. One of the big growing product categories is landscape lighting, and there's a newcomer named Garden Light LED that's targeting the custom installation channel for the first time. This Florida-based company offers an array of affordable specialty landscape lighting solutions, as well as a flexible, non-proprietary wiring scheme with full tech support. National Sales Director Bruce Kennison spoke with CE Pro's Jason Knott about how the company can help dealers expand their own landscape lighting revenues in 2021.
Hi, Jason Knott with CE Pro, and I'm excited to be joined today by Bruce Kennison, National Sales Director at Garden Light LED. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Jason. Good morning. How are you? And thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining me today. So the landscape lighting category was one that last year CE Pro targeted as its top 5 technologies to watch heading into 2020. And the category got nothing but even more momentum given the pandemic, especially when many integrators were required to work outside when the pandemic first started. So I'm going to be very excited to see where the final data ends up for this category for 2020. But here to talk to me about some of the momentum in this category and Garden Light LED's place in the category is Bruce. So Bruce, give us a little bit of a background on Garden Light LED.
Okay, well, Garden Light LED is located in Tampa, Florida. We're right actually next to the airport. It was founded in 1996 by Reto and Michelle Mueller. And 2 years before they started the business, they actually were installers. So what they wanted to do was learn everything they needed to know about landscape lighting as far as installation, design, sales, marketing, really everything that it takes to be a successful landscape lighting company. So after doing that for a couple of years, they decided, you know what, we want to become manufacturers. So from 96 to 2009, we were a box in, box out manufacturer. So basically, we worked with a outside factory that made the product for us. Things were good, but in 2009, Reto decided, you know what, with the LED revolution, we really need to have a better quality fixture for our customers. So from 2009 till present, we've actually been a fully integrated company. So we do all the engineering, we do all, or majority of the manufacturing, all the assembly, all the testing, and all the shipping from our facility in Tampa, Florida. So it's a really nice position to be in, so because we have complete quality control over the product. So another thing is they made a decision, they didn't want to go through distribution. Okay, the problem is with distribution, a lot of times they have a lot of products they have to understand, they have to know, so that they really understand it as well as we do. And also they don't keep inventory levels where they need to be. So they made a decision to become really a distributor and a manufacturer at the same time. So we've always kept 6 months worth of inventory on our shelves. So we really rarely have back orders. If we do, they're very limited, but you'll never hear 4 to 6 weeks from us. And then also we have a direct relationship with our dealers. So we work one-on-one. So Michelle and Reto, have passed that knowledge on to, dealers. And as we got larger, we started hiring salespeople, inside sales support, and pass that knowledge on to them. And what we're able to do is really work with our dealers one-on-one. So we feel like we give them better service. Besides having product available on a regular basis, we also give them better service because we understand our product better than anybody else. But not just a product, but also how to design, how to install, how to sell, how to market. We take all those things we've learned through our experiences and pass that on to our dealers.
A couple of points from what you just discussed. One is some of the most successful companies come from founders who have come from the industry, who have been, in the field, where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, such as your experience. And then secondly, dealers love that direct to manufacturer relationship, as you just discussed, versus having that middleman. So two really good points there for the company. So give us a sense of the portfolio of your product line.
Okay, well, a couple things is we're one-stop shop vendor. So anything that has to do with landscape lighting, we have, whether it's transformers, accessories, controllers, time clocks, photocells, wire, connectors, fixtures, we have all that. So if you want to do a landscape lighting system, you only have to deal with one vendor, which is really nice. It makes it a lot easier. Most of your manufacturers, they have landscape lighting products specifically for landscape. Talking about softscape, hardscape, trees, uplighting, downlighting, stone walls, things of that nature, which we have. We have path lights, we have wall washers, we have, directional lights, we have everything in that traditional family of landscape lighting fixtures. But I think what really separates us, which makes us really excited about the AV world, is we have fixtures that are specific to the architecture of the home and then also outdoor living spaces, which is obviously getting more and more popular. So we have what we call a specialty light series. And some of the fixtures we have is one is the micro series. What's really nice about this, it's only 1 inch by 0.6 inches, so it's very small. You get 1 watt and 115 lumens, so you get a lot of power out of a small package. But what's really neat about this is you get 5 different beam spreads. So depending on the application, it's a stone wall, is it a gazebo, is it an outdoor kitchen, an outdoor bar, you have 5 different beam spreads you can work with, which is really nice. These fixtures are also IP68, 69K rated. So that means it's actually submersible and also high pressure hose down. So in any outdoor applications, he's going to hold up really, really well. They're fully potted and hold up in any environment. We also have something we call the Saturn series. The Saturn series, they're round fixtures. They're flat. They're like discs. They're almost like a hockey puck. But depending on what you're looking for as far as lumen level and also beam spread, these fixtures come in 12, 25, 40, and 60-degree deep beam spreads. But what we really like about this series is our little halo. Our little halo is 1.3 inches around, and we make them out of brass or stainless aluminum. We can take the stainless aluminum and e-coat them white, black, or architectural bronze, but they work really, really well for outdoor living spaces. And again, which is, right down an AV integrator's alley. So we also have what we call hanging lights. It's called the H1 and H2. Really nice for outside gazebos. They actually hang from the trellis down from the beam. Depending on what kind of lumen level, what kind of beam spread will dictate which fixture you want to use. Predator series is a in-ground for stone walls, for steps. The Predator series, we have 3 different options: the Hawkeye, the Eagle Eye, and the Falcon Eye, and it has 3 different beam spreads depending on what you're looking for as far as beam coverage. And then we also have in-ground well lights, which are really popular. And one thing we do is we do a lot of training. We have to core drill for these fixtures, but we have a video on our website that shows people exactly how to core drill. They shouldn't be afraid of it. A lot of people are, but when you show them the video or you're actually able to do an install with them, all you have to do is have the right tools, and it's a very easy process. But so really what we have is your traditional landscape lighting fixtures, but also we have some really neat, very unique specialty light fixtures, which are perfect for outdoor living spaces.
When you talk about the multiple beam spreads, is that the same light engine and you're using a different lens or diffuser, or is it a different light engine for each of those different beam spreads?
It's just a different optic. So in some of our fixtures, like our directional lights, you can actually change the optics. So if you have a 12 degree and you want to change it to a 25, 40, or 60, you can do that. And that's good because directional lights, you're usually doing plant material and they grow. So, 3 years later, if a plant material gets wider and you say, you know what, that 25 is not wide enough, all you have to do is go back to that fixture and change the 25 out with a 40 degree. So now the smaller fixtures, you can't change optics because one of the beauties is they're so small, but you can't change the optics. So whatever optic you get, you're married to, but that doesn't matter because hardscapes don't grow. So if you decide you want to use, the owl beam spread for the micro series, that's never going to change. So,
right, good flexibility there, and the aesthetic element that you mentioned, I think with the micro and the others, is a key thing that AV integrators are looking for. So there haven't really been many landscape lighting companies that have focused on this channel. What really differentiates you from others that are already in the channel?
Well, I think just what I just mentioned with the specialty light fixtures, because really AV integrators are working with outdoor living spaces. So all these fixtures really work well with that. I think another thing with AV integrators, when I talk to an AV integrator and if I ask them if they do lighting, a majority of them say no. And my first question to that is why not? You know what I mean? So I think we give them, the products they need to work for their clients, to provide the lighting that is necessary for the outdoor living spaces. But also we give great support. We understand that this is new to AV integrators. I think the technical side is very easy for them. Quite frankly, with LEDs, it's gotten a lot simpler. The biggest challenge, to be honest with you, is design. But we have inside lighting coaches. We like to call them lighting coaches, sales support. They all been with Garden Light for a long time. They understand our products. They have so much experience working with other dealers. So a lot of times, we'll have clients or a dealer will have a client that they'll be there. They'll take photos, they'll take videos, they'll send them to us, and we'll say, okay, we worked on something similar to this, numerous times. This is the exact fixture you want to use. So I think with AV integrators that a lot of it's going to be new for them. I think we're going to bring a lot of value as far as the diversity of our product line, and then also our ability to help them design projects. And to be honest with you, I find that the biggest deterrent for any new lighting company is the fear of design. But we do really well with webinars. We train them. What are your lighting objectives? What are your lighting principles? What are the different techniques you're going to use? So we teach them that. We do the webinars. We can do designs over the phone. We can do them over with plans. But to be honest with you, the best thing to do is do a site visit for this reason. Because if I'm able to do a site visit with an integrator, I'm able to walk the property, talk about, what are the challenges are, what are our objectives, what is the design techniques we're going to use, explain it to them. And if you do that a couple of times, to be honest with you, it comes very quickly. And then after that, they're pretty much on their own. But we understand that, we believe in by watering others, we water ourselves. We can't just let these new customers that are new to lighting just kind of figure it out on their own. So we provide a lot of support by webinars, one-on-one relationships with the dealers, and also me being on the road and doing site visits. That's the best way to help educate on design.
I'm glad to hear you say that about the lighting design, because I agree with you that the design is a challenge and a weak area that a lot of integrators have just even now started thinking about American Lighting Association certifications and those sorts of things, but I don't think a lot of those apply to outdoor. So it's great that you have that design assistance capability. So go ahead.
Well, just talking about that, so when I'm, in our webinar, when I'm talking to new customers, it's like, okay, you want to have lighting objectives. What are they? First of all, you want to beautify the property, A1A. But from there, you want to, people spend a lot of money on their outdoor living spaces, but if they don't light it up, at night and they don't light it right, they don't use it as much. So you're going to increase the usability, right? But you're also going to make the house safer, because any kind of stairs, steep inclines, declines, you always want to make sure they're well lit. So it's definitely going to be safer to walk around a property. And then also, you're definitely going to make the house more secure. The biggest deterrent to illegal entry is lighting. So if you have a well-lit house, on a cul-de-sac, and somebody decides to break into a house, they're not going to break into the most well-lit house, right? So that's really your objectives, and that's what a dealer wants to convey to their client. This is what we're going to provide for you. So we're not only beautifying the property, but we're increasing usability, we're making it safer, we're making it more secure. And then from there, you want to hear the basic principles, which is, you want to create depth, different light levels. You want to concentrate on focal points. If a fountain, if a statuary, if a gazebo is what people really want their, visitors to be drawn to, you always want to make that a little bit brighter than everything else. You want to have cohesion. You don't want to have black holes. You definitely want to have balance and symmetry. But the biggest thing when you're doing this is you make sure you want to have quality and direction. Anytime you design a system, you want to do everything in your power so you don't see the source of the light, you just see the effect, right? And then through that, you use different lighting techniques, okay, which, shadowing, uplighting, downlighting, wall lighting, things of that nature. But if you adhere to those basic principles, you can't put in a bad lighting system. Because the way I design a system, to a dealer that I've been working for 5 years, to a dealer I've been working for 2 years, if we went to a project, it would be 3 different designs, but we would make sure we adhere to those basic principles. So I always try, don't be afraid of it, but the way you paint the picture is going to be different the way I paint a picture. Another thing I like to mention is that anytime you're wiring your system, it's really important to take what could be a potential weak point, which is your connections, and make it just as strong as the rest of the system. So 2 things we promote is, one is we use a tin-coated corrosion-free wire. So all of our fixtures, all our lead wires are going to have that wire, and we really encourage our dealers to also use that for your home run wires, okay? So now when you're making your connections with your fixtures, we usually actually use a 3-piece drum connector that's gas tight. Okay, it's really easy to work with. It is direct burial connection, and again, you want to use these drum connectors because you have to make the potential weakest point of the system just as strong as the rest of the system. Okay. Another thing that's nice about this is when you're laying out a project, things always change. So when you're running a home run wire from the transformer, you may think it was 15 feet from the transformer to your first fixture, or it could have been, 20 feet from that fixture to the next fixture. But then once you get on the project, you realize, okay, well, no, it's not 12 feet, it's 14 feet. It's not 15 feet, it's 17 feet. So very easily what you do is you just take the home run wire, and instead of having a predetermined cut wire that length where it becomes a nightmare, you actually just take your spool of wire and just increase it by 2 feet, make your cut, make your connection, and then move on to the next fixture. I've been doing this a long time, and in the field, what you see on a plan, what you actually see when you walk the property and you measure everything off, all of a sudden when you get back out there and you look at it and you say, you know what, I don't want to light this tree from this angle. I want to go 2 feet over this way. You have the flexibility to do that when you're using our drum connectors. If you have predetermined lengths of wire, that becomes a nightmare, and it doesn't give you nearly as much flexibility.
What's the warranty on the Garden Light LED product lines?
Well, we have a 20-year warranty, Jason, and we're able to really offer that confidently. And the reason being is, like I was saying earlier, is that we're a fully integrated company. Again, we do the engineering, majority of manufacturing, all the assembly, which is really, really important because you want to make sure you have good solder points, crimps, heat shrink. We do all the burn tests, and we ship from our facility. So we have complete quality control. So that's why we really confidently extend a 20-year warranty. But to be honest with you, what our goal is no warranty, because the best warranty is the one you don't have to use.
Yeah, that's great information. So one other element that's really important to the custom integration channel is tech support. Tell us how you support integrators.
Well, first of all, just to let you know, I mean, we do have 2 engineers on staff. So anytime there's a technical question that maybe one of our inside sales coaches can't answer, we always have them there for support, which is great, especially with the AV world, that any kind of, compatibility with, smart home systems or whatnot, if we don't have the answer readily, we could always go to our engineering department. So, but you're always going to have that support with your inside lighting coach. That's always going to be there. So when it comes to laying out a system, when we have to figure out, okay, what's the size of the transformer? What's the size of the wire? How are we going to lay the system out? What fixtures are we going to use? Again, the biggest challenge is going to be the design part of it. But what beam spread do I use here? What lumen level? That's when you get into the whole thing about creating depth, because you always want to use lower light levels leading up to higher, especially in the backyard, because that's going to make the backyard look deeper. So we always, on the technical side, on the design side, we offer continual support. And one thing which is great is all of our inside sales coaches, they do not travel. Okay, they're at their desk all day long. So you're always going to be designated a specific support coach. You'll always work with that person, but let's just say that person's out that day. They're on the phone. If they had to talk to somebody immediately, we have plenty other inside people that we could turn them over to. But if they're on the phone, they're busy, they'll always get back to them immediately. So you're going to get very quick support and service from the Garden Light inside sales team.
I love you hearing that term, sales coaching. So speaking of sales coaching, what advice would you give for integrators on an effective way for them to discuss and sell landscape lighting to their clients?
Yeah, the one thing, when I'm talking to an integrator, like I was saying before, if I ask them if they're doing landscape lighting, they say no. I always say why. That's your client. You work very hard to build that relationship. They trust you. They like you. And to be honest, if you don't sell them an outdoor lighting system, eventually somebody else will. So why not you? So, but with that said, really, one of the beauties about the landscape lighting industry is that it's a very low cost entry product line you should start selling immediately. So I would say the 2 biggest things is, one is you want to have one of our sales kits. Our sales kits have our 10 most popular fixtures. They have the different finishes, which again, we only make fixtures out of 6061 aluminum, which is aircraft grade. We could take that and clear anodize it. or we can e-coat those, which e-coating is not powder coating. It's actually e-coating. You'll have a tub of paint. You'll have the fixture. You'll dip the fixture in. It'll be a positive, negative charge, and the paint adheres to the fixture very nicely. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And then also it's going to hold up longer in an outdoor environment. So, and then also we make fixtures out of solid brass. And everything we make is CNC machined out of like those two materials, 6061 aluminum and solid brass. So really that's perfect when you're in front of a homeowner. One, you say it's a US built company. It's been in business since 1996. Okay, then you're able to take the fixtures out of the kit, put it in their hands. And when you do this, you see the quality, you see the CNC machinery. You're able to take the shroud off. You see a double gasketed O-ring. We don't use silicone seal lenses. We do compression fit lenses. Actually, our LED boards, which I think is a huge selling point, is it's field repairable, but to be honest with you, we very rarely have issues with it. Really what I want to sell to a homeowner, more importantly, is it's upgradable. Because the one problem with technology, as we all know, is once you commit to something, 6 months later, you see something out there that's bigger and badder. So our fixtures are literally going to last forever. But you go to say to a homeowner, we're giving you the best technology available today, but as it changes, we can change those boards out. But the best way you can do that is actually by putting that in a homeowner's hand, taking the shroud off and show them exactly what you're talking about. So that sales kit is very valuable because, again, you put it into their hands, the brass, the aluminum, you explain that it's 6061 grade, which is aircraft grade aluminum. And if you Google 6061, the first thing pulls up is aircraft grade. So if any kind of plane fuselage wings is made out of 6061 aluminum, so obviously it has to be a little bit of a lighter weight, which is not a bad thing, but it has to be very, very strong. Another beauty of 6061 aluminum is actually with LEDs, you have to control the heat. Okay, it's very, very important you do that. And the 6061 aluminum actually dissipates heat better than brass or stainless steel. So our commercial grade fixtures, which have a higher wattage, a higher lumen level, we don't make those out of brass or stainless steel. We only make those out of 6061 aluminum. So the sales kit is very important. US built, show the product, put it in their hands. You put yourself in a really good position. When they put that in their hands and they look at it and you explain it to them, they're going to appreciate the quality of the product. So the second is I truly believe in this completely, is that every integrator should buy, and we have these in different levels. We have a mini, medium, and large Showtime closer. But our mini Showtime closer is a 20 light demo kit that has our S2s and S1s, which are basically flat, those hockey puck fixtures that lie flat on the ground. But if you have a homeowner that's interested, what you do is go out there and set up that temporary demo, which has quick connects on it. Probably take 10 to 15 minutes to set up a 20 light demo. And then you can actually show the homeowner exactly what they're getting. Okay, this is what I'm looking to do. And then on top of that, those fixtures for uplighting, they're a little bit limited, but your territory, better than anybody else. But maybe you want to add a couple wall washers to that kit. You want to do a couple path lights you think might be popular in your area. And then you add those to those kit. And if you do those, in my experience, I've been doing in the industry for 18 years, your close ratio is going to be from 75 to 80%. Okay, because they're actually seeing what they're buying. And then the other thing I always tell dealers, when you're talking about design, like when I'm educating dealers on design, you need to educate the homeowner on it. So when you walk the property, you want to ask perspective. Where are you viewing the house? And a lot of times people say, I only look it from the inside of the house out. So you have to take that in consideration when you're designing the lighting system. Okay. But you need to walk around a property and talk about focal points, talk about creating depth, talk about cohesion, balance and symmetry, and talk about quality and direction. I'm going to design a system. So I do everything in my power, not for you to see the source of the light, just see the effect. And when you do that, I've seen that happen so many times. If I was doing a seminar training or if I was helping a dealer at one of their first jobs, when you explain this to the homeowner, they really get excited about it. And then they're like, okay, now I see what you're looking to do, because, outdoor lighting it's not a necessity, it's a luxury. You have to get people excited about what you're going to bring to their home. And, not only that, but then also going back to the whole thing about, okay, my objectives, I'm going to beautify your property. I'm going to increase the usability. I mean, you got this beautiful outdoor living space. I'm sure if we light it up and we light it up correctly, you're going to use it more. And again, we're going to make it safer to walk around the property, and we're also going to make your house more secure. So you really want to hit on all cylinders when you're making a presentation to a homeowner.
Is the best tactic for the integrator to show up around dusk and do the setup where he sells a little bit of ambient light, and then it's ready for the demo as soon as it gets dark? Or what's the timing there? You find that
Yeah,
works
and what
best?
you want to make sure of, I back in the Halogen days, we did a lot of what we still do, but we did a lot of seminars, and they were full day, so it's hands-on. We show dealers how to install the projects, how to design it, everything. And what happened was you turn a system on, and then it starts to get dusky. It's just really not that impressive. You know what I mean? It's not really impressive until it's completely dark. So the one thing when you do these demos, do not turn it on until it's completely dark, because when it's completely dark out and you turn it on, it's really, really impressive. And then what you want to do while you're talking about it, then turn it off, and you'll see their eyes. And a lot of times they say, no, 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 turn that back on. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to see it dark again. They want to see what it looks like lit up. So you definitely want to do that. And also my suggestion would be, in most cases, if you have a really, really big project, you really want to close this, set it up on a Friday and then go back on Monday night and close the deal. Because when they get to enjoy that for the weekend, and then all of a sudden you come back Monday and you're taking the lights out of there, that's the best time to get them to commit to put in the system.
That's great advice. All right, Bruce Kennison, Garden Light LED, thanks for joining CE Pro today.
Jason, appreciate the time and looking forward to working with everybody in the AV world. Real excited about it.